Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing, man? Antonelli here.
Hey, what's up, guys? How we doing? Man, Antonelli here. I am on a long drive right now to go to our 12U game way up in Portland, Maine. So, got about an hour and a half drive. Going through my YouTube and my Instagram questions, and wanted to answer one for you guys today. So, today's question is one that I get an awful lot, and it is, how much did I practice as a high school player? I get asked all the time, how much should players be practicing, and what does it take to make it to the next level, to make it to college, to be a professional player, to get drafted. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of insight into kind of what I did as a player, and then I'm going to talk more broadly just about practice time and my general thoughts on it. So if we flash back to me in high school as a player, let's start with this. I was a multi-sport player. So I played football in the fall, I played hockey in the winter, I played baseball in the spring, and then I would play baseball in the summer. So when the spring started, high school would start. Typically, tryouts are towards the end of March, and the season begins, beginning of April. I'm going to be practicing with my high school team and doing what probably most high school players do. So, I think it was probably 6 days a week, maybe 2 games a week, sometimes 3 games a week. You're doing your team practices for approximately 2 hours a day, and that's all I did. So I wasn't playing for any other teams during my high school career. It was just in the spring, during the high school season, it was just high school practice. And honestly, our practices were nothing crazy. They're actually very, very simple, and I don't know what a lot of other high school practices are like, but back when I was in high school, our practice was taking infield, outfield, and hit. And that was pretty much it. So it wasn't like these were great elaborate practices with all these crazy things going on. So that's what the season for me looked like. Basically April and May, and then maybe the beginning of June is when the playoffs were going on. And then after high school baseball ended, I played travel ball. Now, travel ball I ended up playing for the first 2 years of my high school career. I played for a local team that was a very good travel team. Back then, there weren't many travel ball teams. There was only probably a handful in the whole state. And so it was full of really good players. And I would say that our practices then, you probably practice once or twice a week. And then you would typically play games on the weekends. You'd play in a couple tournaments. So probably, again, very similar to what is going on today. Now, when I became a junior in high school, I actually went and played for a team called the Ohio Warhawks. And this is where my baseball practice kind of got picked up. So when I went out to live, actually went out and lived in Ohio. This team was put together of a bunch of players from around the country. And so they would house us, they'd feed us. It was very much like being almost like a professional player. And so we practiced pretty much every day. I don't really remember having days off. There'd be times where we didn't play well, and coach would wake us up super early in the morning and be like, let's go, everyone get in the vans, we're going down to practice some more. And so we worked out a lot, we practiced a lot, we played a lot, we played a really heavy schedule, probably played, I don't know, maybe 50 games throughout the summer. And so it was very, very serious baseball. I think that it was great for me to prepare me for college baseball and what college baseball was going to be like. So I did do that for 2 years. I did it my junior year and I did it my senior year of high school. Now, once the summer ended, I would go into football mode. So football, typically we go away to camp sometime in August. And so baseball kind of wound down for me. I'd say probably the second week of August, I'm done with baseball. And I would go play football. And when I started playing football, I really didn't do baseball. I might randomly pick up a bat every now and then. My dad coached the fall ball team, and every now and then maybe he'd be like, hey, do you want to come play? And if I didn't have football or I didn't have something, maybe I'd go play, but I didn't really practice at all. And that was very sporadic. We're talking about maybe a game or two here and there. So I played football all fall. When the winter started, I played hockey. And so during the hockey season, I didn't really pick up a baseball bat very much. Same thing. I maybe, we had, again, I was playing travel ball, so we'd have maybe a couple winter workouts. But I remember during the winter, my hockey schedule, I was very busy, and so hockey came first. And if I had time to be able to go play a little bit of baseball, I'd do a little bit of baseball. But I was a hockey guy in the winter, okay? And then the spring would start up, and obviously, I'd start getting into full swing of baseball. So I was a multi-sport guy. I did not do baseball every single day. Outside of the baseball season, I did very, very little baseball. I get a lot of people that get very nervous. A lot of kids are getting pushed to do year-round baseball. They feel like they have to practice 24/7. They've got to practice, 365 days a year, or they're never going to play college baseball, and they're never going to be able to move on and play at a higher level. And for me, that's not true. I think players should enjoy being able to play multiple sports, have fun. I got a lot out of multiple sports. I got a lot of being able to compete in a real game, and football and hockey, I think, really helps you. I think playing different sports helps you athletically. I think that I just think that getting away from baseball a little bit can also help sometimes also. I thought it was always refreshing to be able to go and play other sports, and then when baseball time came around, man, I was excited and juiced up to get out there on the baseball field and play. The other thing I'll say about practice is a lot of times people are always asking me for a specific number of reps or practices, or they think it's like this special formula. For me, does practicing more help you? Yes, absolutely. I became a better player as I got older. When I got into college and played more baseball, I got better at baseball, yeah. But it's not just about the reps. It's not just about the frequency. It's not just about the quantity. It really is about the quality. And so I see a lot of players that are baseball-only players that just play baseball 24/7, and they are getting passed by guys that don't play baseball 24/7, that aren't only baseball guys, because the quality of the practice, the focused, the amount of focus that goes into it, the actual deliberate practice, I think is what's really, really important. And I think that's one thing that I did a really good job of as a young player, is that everything I did, I was very deliberate about. And so probably even from a young age, I can remember as young as being like 12 years old, and I don't think anybody had to tell me to go, when I was practicing, no one had to tell me to focus or to pay attention. Every swing I took, I feel like I was doing it to improve and get better, and I was really, really zoned in on it. And I know that's easier for some people than others, but that is one thing I do remember, being really locked into every practice. Every practice, I didn't just, it was fun, absolutely it was fun, but I was there to get better. I was there to work hard during that practice time. And so I think that is super important. I see a lot of players that aren't able to lock in and don't do a very good job of being very deliberate in practice and focusing in on, exactly what they want to accomplish that day, exactly what they're trying to get out of whatever drill it is they're doing. And so that is super, super important. The other thing I'll talk about with practice is the one thing I did get also, and this was typically during the spring and the summer, is I got a lot of practice time on my own. So not just organized stuff. So I did a lot of stuff with, my dad and my friends. So a lot of times I'd say, hey, can we go down and take ground balls? Can we go down and hit? And my dad would take me hit ground balls, and he'd throw to me and I'd hit. And I think that's a huge part of practice that some players don't really think about. It's not just the team activities, especially in nowadays where everything is so organized, and it's like it's all private lessons and it's all team practices. But there's a lot of opportunity outside of that, on your own, one-on-one, or with a friend, or with a dad, or with whoever, where you can really, really improve. And again, if you're very deliberate about your practice, well, that's how you get really, really good, because those hours really add up if you're doing a good job about it. Yes, again, having fun, but also getting quality reps. I can remember a lot during the summertime, older people older than me will call it sandlot ball, but it was, going with your buddies, and we'd use a wheelbarrow, we'd turn it upside down, and we'd grab a tennis ball, and we would just throw the thing as hard as we could at each other, and we'd have real competitive games with really good players, and we played it like it was even more important than our normal games. I mean, we wanted to win those games so badly, and so I think those are really, really important too. So I think you put all that together, I think that's what helps players improve. Now, I'll end it with this. Just because you do that, I mean, there's plenty of players I see that are great about having deliberate practice, and they put in a ton of work, and they don't play at the level that they aspire to or they hope to play because the game is really hard, and some players are just, listen, some players are a little bit more physically gifted than others, and some players need a lot more work, and some players can put in, I've seen players that put in so much work, and they just, physically they don't have it, but listen, they made it way further than they would have ever if they didn't do that deliberate practice. And that's really the key, I think. It's to get the absolute most out of whatever it is you're capable of. And not all players are capable of the same thing, but if you can get the most out of your ability and you make it as high as you physically can, that you possibly could, for me, that's what it's all about. Okay? And so that, and the way to get there is what we talked about with practice time. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Thanks again for the questions. I know I've gotten this one a lot. I really hope this helps. Comment in the section below, subscribe to the channel, share the video with all your friends, all that good stuff. And that's all I got. We'll talk to you later.